where there seems to be more chaos, there's actually more order. I know this is crazy because we've been taught by and shown by a lot of people that there the chaos is the opposite of order and vice versa. I was just laying in my bed and I just feel like there's just so much turmoil. Like there's just so much chaotic, rampant, quick moving, fast energies moving through my mind and my body. But actually the more that I sit with it, the more order there seems to be. The more it seems like everything is actually just in its place, in its right place. The more chaos there is, the more awareness there seems to be. And where there's more awareness, there's more peace. Because that's innately who we are, that's our nature. I was laying on my bed still, and there was just this super loud music playing from my neighbors. And I remember before, like, I was quite affected by those things, and it would just annoy me. Like I found it so detrifying to my ears and my body, and I would breathe the suffering that it is unbearable, and this is just so annoying for me. And our external reality, life, it just wants to show us all the time what's going on in our internal reality. How does that mean that when there is loud music or loud people around you, that you are loud within you? Well, maybe if you have been used to be in the victim and the agony, reacting unconsciously in frustration and anger towards, like the seemingly annoying, chaotic sounds, then yes, life is trying to, I wouldn't say trigger, but reveal to you that which you were unable to see at first within yourself. So you could say that everything in our external reality is trying to give us a chance to see what is happening within us, for us to master ourselves and get to know ourselves, to reveal areas that have been dormant within us, and to become these parts within ourselves. Thus we expand and get to know ourselves better, which is what we came here to do, I believe. So just to come back again to my main concept, where there is more order, there is more chaos. Where there is more agony and anger and turmoil, where there seems to be so much more emotions involved as normally, it's an invitation for there to be more order in your awareness. Because that which seems to be chaos is actually something that if you place your attention to it, there is sudden order. Chaos, what we humans define as chaos, is really simply just our own projection and opinion on what's going on. It's our own lens in which we view things in that we call chaos. So in the end, we are literally just labeling parts of our own self, because if there is a self, we as our human self now, we are exactly the same atoms, consciousness, as all the other ingredients in our external reality. Like there's no difference between who we are and our external reality. We view everything in life through what we have thought that it is, through the perceptions that we've gathered in our brain. We have stored perceptions in our mind, so it reveals certain things that we want to see it as. Notice how sometimes when we look at the sky, we first see it as if it's blue, but actually when we look at it, you can see that it's actually like completely gray. And I've noticed this in myself. This is just another part of what we want to see. We want to see that the sky is blue, or at least I want to see that the sky is blue. Yet the reality of it can be quite different. Now, is the sky really blue? Well, actually no, right? Like, we all know that in the evening, like, it's just completely black, you know? In our human experience, it just has appeared to be this way for perhaps thousands of years. So just to try and make this some kind of like practical information, all the chaos is actually our own projections that we unconsciously place onto reality. The true reality by itself, like only it, may it be the sounds that you call chaotic, like really heavy noise. Well, if you sit with it longer and you surrender, you can feel that this is just another extension of who you are in this physical reality, which you have called something abruptly and annoying, you know? I'm just assuming that for the sake of education at this moment, that it is annoying. But the more that we sit with it, we can find so much peace in it. When I was living next to the ocean, at times I got quite annoyed by the sound of it, but at a lot of other times when I was like not really in my lows, in my emotions for example, it's the most calm mantra that there can be. This sound can help me to come back more to the present moment. And I feel the more that we practice this presence and non-labelment or attachment to certain projections that we place onto life, the more peaceful we live our lives in general, the less unaffected we will, the more unaffected we will be by certain things that used to carry ourselves away before by our unconscious impulsive reactions to things. So I want to bring you guys on another little crazy adventure and kind of like breakthrough that I had. And I've had this expressed in several different situations, but this is just one that I'll never forget. And I was in Costa Rica and I went to this club, which I rarely ever do. Like, I'm quite a sensitive person, so I don't enjoy much being around like these clubs where there's just a lot of like, you know, drinking and stuff and like that suppression and stuff. Anyway, like that's just the way I perceived it at the time, and maybe I perhaps still do. I can find joy in it, but it's just not for me. However, I was there, found myself there, met up with my friend, and we were dancing and all those things, and it was beautiful. However, before entering that, once I entered that place, I just felt like this deep layer of insecurity, anxiety, suppressed emotions. I was perceiving that, and that became the reality that I was perceiving. Now, I was fully taking in all that energy, and I could say, because I was facing that energy the whole time, you eventually become it. Eckhart Tolle once said, and I think another person said it, but the longer you stare the devil in its eyes, you become the devil. So don't look the devil in the eyes so long, because else you'll become it. So what I did there was, I took a few breaths and I came back to my heart. Now, our vertical axis within our own being are all different frequencies and vibrations. Each energy accumulative point in our being, every chakra you could say, operates in a different frequency and vibration. So when we tune into that exact part with our awareness, our full unconditional attention to these areas and parts within ourselves, we get to choose what our external reality will express itself as, reveal itself as, because we change the vibration within ourselves in which we perceive these atoms as, right? So I decided to just come into my heart, to disidentify myself with this overwhelming anxiety, overwhelming low self-confidence and suppressive emotions, and just basically insecurity. Like, nobody was dancing, and I just felt that heaviness, you know. So then when I came back to my heart, like, I really felt that, fuck, this is all not me, this is who I am. And suddenly all the heaviness just dropped away into this beautiful peace and harmony, and just this loving perception and view of everybody and everything and the whole area. The whole place just completely shifted, and it literally felt like I was here and I just could finally look and see, wow, this is it. the ground that I was at and looking at, it felt so fucked up. But then when I placed myself above it by feeling into my heart and grounding in my own energy, everything just changed. And then I just started dancing with my friend, and then everybody started dancing, because that's how usually things work out, right? We all just want to be happy. So yeah, where there is more chaos, there is also more order. And all the chaos is an invitation for us to find the order within ourselves. Thus then we will perceive our external reality as that order. So what is order? What is chaos? The order is the underlying truth and the subtle, undisturbed, plain frequency and vibration itself, which is not projected on by our own way that we want to view these certain emotions, thoughts, physical appearances in our external reality for it that we want it to be as. Then what is chaos? Chaos is exactly our own interpretation of what this actual plane, vibration and reality, atom, physical, dense, compact thing that appears as something is. So if we go to the actual root of it, we can experience that everything is just sound and vibration, that everything is just a continuous play, and we are experiencing that play. If you allow yourself to come back to the nature and core of the ingredient of what seems to be happening itself, which comes from you. Have you ever experienced that thought arises from outside of you? Thought arises from within our own body. Where does feeling arise from? Have you ever experienced that feeling arises outside of you? A feeling arises from within. A thought and feeling disappears from within our own being. Now, if the way that we perceive the reality and world comes from the way that we perceive it through as our mind's way to view things, so the thoughts that we get in a moment, like, is that the same ingredient as the interpretation of what it is that we are trying to identify, of that which we are observing? Is this veil, which contains all the colors, our interpretation of sound, is that the same ingredient as all the thoughts, feelings and emotions that we experience? Hell yes, we are exactly the same as that. We are the same ingredient as thoughts, feelings and emotions. Yet how much do we as true awareness identify and attach ourselves to that certain experience? Maybe for certain relief or comfort that we humans tend to do, which is completely normal. Yet if we want to live more conscious, we realize that these are things that come and go, are supposed to come and go. And our own unhealthy attachments to these things is what causes the friction, and the expression of that friction is the manifestation of irritation, physical ailment, frustration, the opposite of peace. So just to bring the body's role here in it, the body is just trying to teach us and show us what is best for us and what is not best for us.